Have you ever been so impacted by something that it leaves no doubt as to what helped shape you? Welcome to The Blind Impact, where we talk about and uncover those moments, some funny, some sad, and some scary, but it's not always tragic. I hope you'll stay for a while. Hey guys, welcome to The Blind Impact. Today's guest is Miss Christy. I hope I said that right, Christy. Christy, what do you want to tell us about yourself today?
So first, I would like to just say thank you for having me here as a guest today. It's also given me the opportunity to tell my story to anyone that's out there listening. Basically, I'm a survivor, still surviving from drug addiction, abandonment, prostitution, losing custody to your children, depression, anything you can basically think about, I've been through it. So just to all your listeners, just wanted to say quick, don't ever give up. I'm a walking example of someone who struggled with all of these things, and it does get better.
What's your story?
So, really don't even know where to start, but basically it's just, I've been through a lot. I'm 41. I'm still learning every day on how to love myself, forgive myself, and how to let go and move forward. I've been homeless. I've slept in my car. I've experienced times where I didn't know what else to do, and it led me to prostitution, which also led me to drugs. Been in situations where I've been abused physically, mentally, emotionally by my kid's father, also by my mother. I would want to say I started maybe using drugs in 2009, which was 2 years after I lost my children, which I am a mother to 5. But unfortunately, I went through a battle of CPS and didn't have any family to kind of fall back on or to get support from. And I was very young, so I ended up losing the battle. When I got the phone call in 2006 that they were being taken from me, that's basically when I just kind of lost it. The reason why I'm kind of starting to in 2006 is because I want to say that's more of what tragically happened to me, what the experiences that I've faced. So yeah, when that happened, I kind of lost it. Y'all can't see me, but I do have a lot of tattoos, had a few piercings. So I went through stages where I didn't care. I was just getting tattoos. I was on drugs, so I didn't feel anything. I want to say I used drugs at that time because it was just introduced to me. Never did anything really hardcore, but I guess you can say that methamphetamine was hard. So I experienced that, did it for a very long time. I have been sober, though, for 4 years, which wasn't very hard to stop. I just think crowd that I was around, also my new relationship that I'm in, it just wasn't working. So it was something that I had to stop doing. But anyway, so from that time, losing my kids, I kind of lost it all. Actually tried to commit suicide, which I did, but the paramedics revived me. They said I did die for 4 minutes. So if anybody out there is thinking about doing anything like that crazy, I would suggest not to. It's not a nice experience. And also, it's something that I would say I kind of regret doing. But at that moment when I did it, it was something that I felt I just was ready for. I didn't want to be here anymore. I had got the phone call that my kids were being taken from me for good. My rights were being terminated. So I did what I saw in movies, and I went to the restroom with a bottle of generic Tylenol and a big gulp cup and swallowed almost $250 aspirin. Stayed looking in the mirror, wondering when it was going to happen, when I was going to fall over. I never did. My kid's father was in the living room at the time. And of course, him just mimicking and mocking me from the back and telling me you're not dead, it didn't work, haha, just being very negative. So when I realized that nothing was happening, after a few minutes, I just kind of turned off the light, went back to my room, and I laid there and I just told God that I was ready to go. If I fell asleep, I didn't care if I woke up. I just didn't want to be here anymore. And unfortunately, one, guess you can't say unfortunately, but I did wake up. It was like 2 hours later. I woke up at midnight. I couldn't breathe. I was gasping for air and kind of like, scared, and tried to wake him up, but he wasn't trying to like help me or anything. So I just know that I ran to the restroom and looked in the mirror, and my pupils were dilated. I was panicking, but I started thinking of ways to make myself feel better. So I started gagging myself with my toothbrush, trying to throw up, but that wasn't working. And then I started thinking like, okay, maybe I'm overdosing. What do I do? So then I went to the kitchen and I drank milk. That didn't work. I ate bread, thinking that would absorb something. That didn't work. And it just got to the point to where I just couldn't really breathe anymore, and I was just getting really tired. So I just called the ambulance. And I was new into that apartment complex, so I really didn't know exactly what building number I was in. We had like apartments / little condos. Lady was asking me to tell her my exact what my building number was, where was I, and that they were en route. And I just told her I didn't know. I just know I was getting very sleepy, drowsy, and she did tell me to walk to the door. And so when I did, all I can remember was opening my front door, and then that was it. And when I woke up, I was in the hospital, tied down to the bed, in one of those hospital outfits. There was a police outside of my door. I also had a lady who was in there babysitting. And I had all this black stuff like all over my hospital outfit. Basically, they just told me that the only reason why they found me was because it was like their third time going around the apartments, and they found me. They just happened to look over, and I was basically hanging. I was laid out on the floor, but half of my body was out of my apartment door. So, of course, they got me or whatever, and they said I flatlined in the ambulance on the way to the hospital, and one of the paramedics, I guess, didn't give up, which I wish I could thank now. But when I did wake up and saw him, I didn't thank him. He basically, I guess you can only shock somebody so many times. And he said that something told him one more time. And so when he did, I guess, well, that's when my heart came back. So I just know that it was a worse experience. I'm very grateful that I didn't die or mess up any of my internal organs. I was told by the doctor that if I would have took regular aspirin or Advil, that I wouldn't be here today. So basically, it's, everything happens for a reason. It's a situation that I went through that I can say I would never do again. When I went to of course, after you commit suicide, you have to go to a crazy place. So I went to a Green Oaks in Dallas. I had to be there. I was in the hospital for a week, and I got transported over to that Green Oaks hospital, and I was there for a day, which I was really surrounded by people who really needed medical attention. I sat there, and I guess the doctor's my turn to get evaluated. The doctor basically told me that I wasn't crazy. I didn't need to be there, that he was going to let me go, and that he was going to prescribe me medicine for depression, and that basically whatever situation I was in or whoever I was around, basically what I did was a cry for help, which I understood. And it was, I didn't want to be there with my kid's father. I lost my kids. I had just got this brand new apartment, working 2 jobs, trying to get them back, and to lose it all in one phone call was just too much for me at that point. Anyways, I left there, went back to my apartment, grabbed a bag of clothes, and never went back. So that was an eye-opener. I've never done that ever again, never thought about it. I've been in situations, maybe not as worse as it is to be told your kids are being taken, but a lot of situations where trying to do that to yourself, I would never do it again. So just know that it will get better. After that, I can say I've been to prison twice, unfortunately. In the first situation, I can say that I don't feel like I did anything wrong, but just knowing what that person was doing, it was wrong. So, and in the state of Texas, if it's your car, it's, your drugs. So I ended up going to jail. I got probation, didn't comply. Thought I was young too. So it was like, I'm not doing what you say. I'm innocent and blah, blah. So went on the run. And when they caught me, it was like 4 years later.
So before you get into that story, I do want to kind of touch on when you say where the EMT who decided to give you the defibrillator that one last time because he felt like there was a reason, like he needed to, and you open your eyes and you see him there, and you said unfortunately, but then you realized that yes, it wasn't an unfortunate event. But what did you feel when you did open your eyes and saw him there?
I was upset. He actually didn't show up till I think a few hours later on that day. He had said he had been calling to check up on the young girl who they had brought in. And so when he did come in, I just thought he was a regular doctor, but didn't really focus on what his outfit was. And he told me that he was the one who brought me back, and he just had to see me and tell me that something had told him. He said he heard something in his ear say one more time. And he's like, I don't know what it is about you, but I just felt like you were young. And I just wanted to let you know that you have a purpose. I don't know what it is you're going through, but just know that there's a reason why I heard just one more time. And so I'm just letting you know, like, whatever it is, it will get better. And, I'm glad that you're here. And I just kind of looked at him. I was kind of still in a daze and I just told him thank you. But I know that I wasn't happy, because when I woke up, I remember going, ugh. And, and the lady next to me was like, you're awake. And everybody was happy I was awake. And I just was like, no, even though I wasn't in the same place of, my apartment, but still, I just felt like, oh man, like it didn't work. And I guess I was just still upset, but now I'm a lot better. I'm very grateful that that person didn't give up.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to ask you, and I can't imagine that you would have wanted it any other way, and then to not be here, and then to not be here now telling your story. But when there's a handful of people out in the world that are capable of being able to care that much about a stranger. And that man is obviously in the right profession, and because he cares. And then, like you said, you were young and he didn't want to see it go the other way. So thank God for him. Thank God for people like that. And I hope that who knows, maybe he may hear this. He might. And then that'll be your opportunity to be able to thank him and show him that you did not fail, and he's absolutely right about having a purpose. So thank you to the man who helped to resuscitate Christy.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. If you are listening, thank you.
When you do listen. Okay. All right. So we're gonna get back on track, and you were talking about your stint in the big house.
Oh, yes. So, yes, those were just two situations where I experienced. So, yes, the first one, I was there. I got sentenced to 2 years. The worst experience I could ever imagine. Not so much like the movies that you see on TV or shows, but pretty close. I did only a year. No, I did actually 10 months in TDC down there in Gatesville. I made my first parole, which basically the judge had already told me that, I would make my first parole, that I just had to go down there, get a number, and that I would, if I was good, I would be able to come, right out. Didn't happen like that, but I did make my first parole, and I just had to do a class called Changes. It basically prepares you for, coming out again. And steps that you can take to not want to, not put yourself in the same situation, life skills, just stuff like that to help you get prepared for when you're free. I did make it to the big house with all the serious people who were there for a very long time. I was told by a few of the girls from the county that I was in, they kind of like schooled me on what to, to prepare me for, what to do, what not to do. Because, I was only 30 years old. It doesn't seem too young, but something that I've never experienced. So yes, a lot of the girls who were there with me have been there 3 or 4 times. So it wasn't their first rodeo. So I basically just did what I was told to do. Being there, you get treated like a whole you're not even a human being. It's you're just a number. Say goodbye to freedom. It is what it is, what you see on TV. There's guards walking around with guns and, walk in a straight line. You eat, sleep, do whatever when you're told to do it. It's always, I guess it would have been a little bit better if I would have had family support. I didn't have anybody. I did my time by myself. I didn't go to commissary. It's a store where you buy stuff. Thank God that people around that area donated from churches like hygiene packages. So basically every month I got like a hygiene package. That was for people who didn't have money on their books. You get 3 meals a day, so I really wasn't hungry. Just didn't get to have the snacks and stuff, but I was okay with that. I've experienced worse situations, so it was just whatever. But like I said, I made my parole, got out, basically finished my parole. I was only on parole out here for a year, so I did 10 months in there, and then I still had to do a year and some months on parole out here, and I finished and kind of walked a straight line. Didn't put myself in a situation like that anymore. Can't say I learned my lesson because it happened again, but it, again, just in a wrong place at a wrong time. So, and that time I only got 6 months. And so I did half of my time in county. And this time I did have support. I had my future husband that was there for me, saw me every weekend, put money on my books. Actually, like I was one of the girls who was, like they say, balling in the jail because I had everything. Went to the store and bought stuff that I didn't even need, but just, it's a way of what girls do in there. But so yeah, but so that's over with now.
Yeah, thank God, right? Like, there's nothing wrong with just looking forward. But when you were the first time when you were in there, like what was the first night like for you?
I want to say it was pretty traumatizing. I don't really remember much of the first week there. It was bad. You have to get naked in front of all these people. They're cutting your fingernails. They're checking your hair for lice. You're in this dog cage, like literally a cage where they have you separated. You're carrying this red bag around that has one towel and one cup, one spoon that you have to make sure you take with you when you go to the chow hall, which is where you eat. I just remember them separating a lot of us because I guess they already knew which girls were going to go to what area. But I do remember telling the guards from my county, like, please don't leave me here. And they were like, we're sorry, but we have to. But yeah, it was pretty traumatizing. I also remember you have to drag your mat, and you have to use your other hand to carry this bag. And I was much smaller then, so I was struggling, and everybody else kind of already had their mat like over their shoulder. And I'm just like, oh God, I can't keep up with them. And you're wearing this big old like long dress looking outfit until they actually put you in your
jumpsuit.
Yes, which it really wasn't like a jumpsuit. It was like it kind of like scrubs, like what you wear for the pants and the shirt, but it's just all white. Okay. And these ugly shoes. And so once you got all that, they call you to tell you get on this side. If we call your name, get on that side. Whenever we're ready, you're gonna go this way with this guard. You're gonna go that way or whatever. And so I went my way. There was only 2 of us that went to the pod that I was going to, and I just remember crying. And the guard, she basically told me like, suck it up. She's like, I'm not gonna let you go in there crying. You need to wipe those tears. With all them tattoos that you have, you should not be crying. And if you are scared, then you need to fake it to make it. because they're going to eat you alive in there. Just so when you're ready, I'm going to open that door and you're going to go in. And I was just like, oh my God. And she was telling me what bed I was going to go to, and I couldn't see it from where I was. And I was just like, oh my God. And everybody was already in the window, like banging on it. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to die. But yeah, I was, thank God I was with, surrounded by, I remember there were 3 black girls. I was the only little Hispanic right there in that little area. I didn't speak for like 2 weeks. And when I did speak, that's really when it all started, because after that you couldn't shut me up. But my bunkies didn't know that I knew English, because I didn't speak to them, because I was just told, don't talk to nobody, mind your business, just stick to yourself and you're gonna get through it. So that's what I thought I was doing. And when I did speak, they were like, oh my God, like, you know English? And I was like, yes. And they were like, this whole time you've been here, you didn't even say a word. And I was like, I was just too scared. But after that, it was a wrap. Found my way and started, putting on makeup because my friends were doing it, getting my hair braided, and just, like, I'm not doing nothing bad, because I didn't get into any arguments, fights with nobody. I didn't get written up from the guards. So I think that's pretty much why I made my first parole, and my case wasn't that serious. But yeah, it was a life-changing experience, something that I wouldn't wish on anybody. And it's a place where you don't want to go back to,
Yeah.
Because they do make it hard for you. They do talk to you ugly. I've saw situations where you're showering and there's a male guard literally walking right in front of you. Yes.
Wait, I thought that's some sort of like law or something, that to where like it's supposed to be female guards only in areas like that. So did he just get away with it? Nobody said anything?
No, I mean, I basically didn't know about stuff like that, so I don't know, when that law came about, but I know. Yeah, we had shower curtains, but we had guards that were on duty, and they were men, and they'd walk around even in our sleep. When I actually made it to a real unit, because the transfer unit, there was no male guards that would walk around. Now they did walk around, but they weren't allowed to go to where the area where the shower and the toilets were. But when you get to the real unit, I mean, that's a whole different story. So yeah, I had my my kitchen boss, he approached me one time from the back and put me in an uncomfortable situation, but I just kind of wormed my way out of it, because I was kind of pinned up against a shelf. I was actually looking for prunes because I couldn't use the restroom. And so I was in the refrigerator, and I had a ladder, and when he walked in, he came in from the back, and I had my hand inside the jar, and so basically he said I was stealing, and it caused him to come closer to me, and I had my mouth full of prunes because all I wanted to do was use the restroom, and I knew that I wasn't supposed to be in there, but I didn't care. I just wanted to use the restroom, and he approached me from the back and told me not to move, and I didn't, and I was coming down. So basically you can say that my whole bottom rubbed against his chest, because I couldn't, he told me to come down, but it was like, sir, you have to move.
Right.
And he obviously wasn't going to move. So, I'm coming down the ladder. And so I rubbed against him, and he was just like, damn, well, my last name is Medina. So he was like, damn, Medina, I bet you're really fine when you're out there in the real world. And I was just like, okay, I'm gone. And he was like, if I see you again in here, I'm gonna write you up, don't let it happen again. And I just, okay, and walked out and never talked about it again. But one thing he did do nice was he's the reason how I knew what my release date was. Yes. So even though he did that when he shouldn't have, I don't know if that's how he tests some of the women, because I know there were a few women in there that worked in the kitchen who were chewing bubble gum and wearing makeup, and a few of them told me like, you're gonna do what you're gonna do, I guess. But I wasn't one of those, and I think he realized that when that situation happened. But he knew I didn't have any family, and he's the one, when I went to work one day, he told me, Medina, I know your release date. And I was like, oh my God. And he's like, I'm not going to tell you if you're going to start crying. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to cry. And he basically told me it's not today or tomorrow, but let's just say we have one more week with you. And I just remember like falling to my knees and I just cried because I was like, oh my God, I'm going home. And of course he said, I can't touch you. You got to stop. Like, I basically like fell in front of him and he wanted to like grab me to, I guess, embrace me, you know. But he just said it, I can't touch you, Medina. Like, stop crying, get up, toughen up. You just because you're going home don't mean you're going to stop working. Get your butt in there and start cleaning up. And so that's really what made me just stop, because it was like, you know what, you're right. Like, one more week, let's go. You can't touch me, so I can't. I wanted the comfort, I guess. I didn't care who, but I was the only one in his office. So
absolutely.
But yes, he's the one who found out for me. I gave him my social, my info, and he called, and so I was released. It's been a minute. September 13th. No, August 13th.
Okay.
I was let out. It was on a Monday.
Wow. So see, and that situation took a different turn than where I thought it was going to go, and then he ends up being somebody who's like advocating in a way for you, and like you said, it's because he probably felt that you were different from the other girls that were in there that were willing to let him do whatever. And we don't know the man's, but
he's somebody though I will never forget.
I clearly
very
I can see,
grateful for
I
him.
See.
Very grateful for him.
I see that. So thank you, sir.
Yes, I do know his name, but I don't want to.
No.
Yeah.
Please don't. Please.
And I've thought about a few times once I got out years ago to maybe like call, like I wanted to like get in touch with him and just say thank you.
Right.
Thank you for being, minus the situation he put me in. It never happened again.
Mm-hmm.
Just to make that clear, it never happened again. I just feel like I'm just always bubbly and just, a few times I got in trouble by him, but only because I worked in the back dock sometimes. So it's like basically I'm in the field behind the kitchen, and in La La Land, I'm walking around in circles and singing, and the guards in the tower could see me. And so a few times he'd go back there and say, Medina, what are you doing back here? I got guards calling me, telling me you're dancing around in circles. And it's just, I kind of would lose my, just when I was out there and you're in fresh air, you kind of forget where you are. And just, I would be caught a few times just bouncing around and not doing my job, but he'd let me make it. But yeah.
So in a very, I don't want to say it's like in a dark way, I guess that's kind of cute, because it's like he doesn't have a job to do. And I can't imagine like you're, because what was his position there?
He was the kitchen boss. He was the officer who controlled the whole kitchen. Okay.
But so I can't imagine being in a position of authority in a place like that where you've got all sorts of personalities and you never know how a person is going to respond or react or treat you. But this guy is in charge of all these women in the kitchen. And here he is, and there you are, and it's like he's like, well, this girl she's so different, and it's hard for me to be able to just really reprimand her, because the image I'm seeing is like he was sort of like a father figure, and he was somebody who wanted to see you make it, and without saying specifically that, but that's something that I could see for him. So despite your circumstances, throughout all of this, you have come across some really well-intentioned people doing a very hard job.
Yes. Total strangers that I can say were there for me in a lot of situations. Total strangers, yes.
And that to me kind of feels like that's where you wanna like pay it forward. Because, meeting people like that, and then you being the person that you are and the personality, it's so like, it's hard to see you in that environment. It's really hard to see you. And I hate that you had to go through that, but I'm glad that you did, because it's obviously made you a much better person for it. But I like the trajectory that you're on currently. Making great strides, and I know that your future is going to be so much better than this because of what you went through.
Yes. And it's like, even though you may think like you're alone at that moment, whatever situation it is, it's like you're really not, because there is somebody, and I've always met somebody in any situation. Even when it came across to when I started doing the prostitution thing, I was left in Austin and had no one, didn't know anyone, and the lady who worked in the hotel, that was like, she was like, I want to say, I really consider them like my little guardian angels, because in every situation there's that one person who doesn't give up on me, knows what I'm doing. I mean, this manager at the hotel knew what I was doing and never really told me, but always called my room when there was a cop on the property. She knew I was on the run at that time also. I didn't have an ID, didn't have any kind of proof of who I was, and this person still let me book a room. I never knew how to book. I didn't know how to book hotels online. I had to learn all that, and I had about $1,500 in my pocket, and I just went straight to the office and told this lady, like, please help me. I don't know what to do. The girl's leaving me here. I don't know nobody. And she was like, I'm gonna call the cops. And I'm like, no, please. Like, we don't need no cops. It's just me. And, she helped me try to figure out where I could get an ID. I ended up calling Dallas, and was like a place where I cashed one of my checks years ago. And thank God they had a picture of my ID still. They had to fax it over. But this total stranger literally let it slide. I mean, I'm pretty sure you have to have an actual ID, but I just think she knew that I needed help. And if it wouldn't have been for her, I probably don't even know if I would have made it out there, but I did. And there was a lot of times I was late on my rent, which had to be paid daily. And the manager would let it slide, just get it and have it here before tomorrow or the next day. But she knew. And I want to say also she knew that I was on drugs, because unfortunately one of the people who cleaned the rooms went in without my permission, because I really didn't I cleaned my own room. And the guy took a picture of my contraband and showed her. And so that day she sent me a picture from her phone, and she just said, can you explain this? And I was like, oh man. And she was like, look, I know what you do. It's bad enough that I'm allowing you to do what you do, when there's other women who have been on my property that I've had removed as soon as I know what's going on. But she just told me, like, but there's something about you that I know that maybe at this point you're just doing what you need to do to get wherever you need to get, but I don't want to see this anymore. So, and I was just like, okay, I won't do it anymore. Like, I won't leave it around. She really was good to me there. Very nice manager of the property. And I guess I kind of moved up really fast, and I never really came out. I didn't want no one to really see me. What I did was I wanted to do it as much as possible behind closed doors. And so, she saw a lot of action going on and never reported me, and thank God, because I probably wouldn't be here right now today. Who knows what I would have got myself into. But there were times where, like I said, I couldn't pay my rent, and she would let it slide, and I'm very grateful for that, because I could have ended up in the streets in Austin, and I wouldn't have known where to go.
Sure.
But I kept in contact with her once I left, and I told her I was done with my little mission that I needed to do. And then I was coming back to Dallas, and she was just like, okay, keep in touch. And it was great meeting you, and everything's going to get better. And I hope when I see you again, you'll come and check in my hotel, and it'll be for vacation or something, not for these kind of situations. But, like I said, another situation where I was alone, thought I was alone, and I really wasn't. I did have somebody there who watched over me, and kind of like you said, I'm just a cool person. I like to talk, so I guess maybe just the talkative, and I was just different from, I guess, everybody else, and we kind of just grew a little bond. But
Yeah, I think, I mean, and I think that you are different. I think that it's a lot of, like I was telling you the other day about just like transparency, and you are a very transparent person. And I know there's some things that you could be guarded about, and you've got that right to be guarded about. But I just think that when people do meet you, like your personality, it's so big that it's like there's no choice but to want to get to know you, and I think your level of honesty, even if it sheds a bad light on you, like you're like, well, this is who I am, which is amazing. Like I wish that everybody could be like that. And it's like you take it or you leave it. Like I don't it doesn't matter to me one way or the other, right? But I think that has been something that you're obviously born like that to be this person, which is a blessing. And I want for you to continue to be yourself, continue sharing your story, because I think that so many people can benefit. And I've said it before on the show, like it's just something that people can benefit from hearing other people's stories. And you've got some that are more severe than others, but to see the outcome is the most amazing part to me. And I think that it's something that's really gratifying about it, and seeing that or discovering that you weren't by yourself in these situations, which I'm happy for that. I am, because a part of it makes me feel a little bit sad, for you, honestly, especially just being young and then just having circumstances kind of just dropped in your lap. But I'm very proud of you for being able to move through it, yes, however you needed to, yes. So you keep on, as they say in the 70s, keep on keeping on, right? Like, I mean, that's all that you can do. Yeah. And of course, just keep trying to build your relationship with Christ, however that looks for you, right? Because you're not here by your own will. Yes. And those people that were placed in your lives, that's strategic. Like that wasn't just by chance.
Prayer is really all that I had also. A lot of day, even though I can't say like I pray every day now, sure, which I should, but I know that if I didn't say it out loud, I know that he knew that I needed help, or I'm just, please God, let me be safe. I'm about, I had so many men coming in and out of that hotel room, and I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. I didn't have one weapon. I didn't have a gun. I didn't have a knife. I didn't have any of that, just me. And just praying that every person who walked in that door would not want to hurt me. And I was hoping too that because my intentions weren't to hurt you, please don't hurt me. But, regardless, a man is bigger than you. Absolutely. And I had all different shapes and sizes, men, wide, tall, short. Right. But still, it was a risk that I took every day. And it was just, I needed to do what I needed to do because I didn't know what else to do. And it was something that was showed to me. And I mean, I've always, regardless, like before I even tried to do the whole escorting thing, I've always kind of had my way with men. Buy me whatever I want, give me what I want. So I kind of just ran with that also. I mean, and so, but I also, in that little journey, I did meet a few men also who would come and see me for whatever situation, but also would call me and check up on me, knew my real name, because I didn't go by Christy in Austin. So if I felt comfortable with you, then I would tell you basically sum it up why I'm here. Because a lot of them knew you're not an ordinary working girl. And it's like, no, sir, I'm just here. I have nowhere else to go. I didn't want to be here. I was left here. And so I have no choice. And so I'm only doing this until I can get enough money to go back home to Dallas. And so I can say that a few of them treated me with respect and stopped actually coming to see me in that way. Good. Yes. I asked one time that I needed help to get a car so I could make it back. And he gave me $500 just to give it to me. Actually told me, like, can we just go out for like a bite to eat, and I just can't see myself coming in here no more doing this with you, because now I know really what's going on, and it kind of makes me uncomfortable. And I'm like, oh God, well, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to make you uncomfortable. And it's like, no, it's just like I say, like, just you're different. So a few of them, I knew about their relationship and, you know, and stuff like that. And it just kind of, till this, I won't say till this day, but maybe up until about 4 years ago, I still had two of them that would contact, try to contact me, reach out through an email and say, like, how are you? I haven't seen you in Austin lately. Are you good? Did you make it back safe? And so obviously I made an impact on their lives also, as well as they did me. And I'm very grateful, like I said, that I was never hurt and never put in a situation where something bad would happen, because there's a lot of people who aren't fortunate. And I want to say that was around the times too where the whole Craigslist killer was out and killing girls, or men who just have a thing for women who do that. They don't like them, and they're, you know, raping them and robbing them. And I'm just grateful that that never happened to me.
Yeah, thank God.
Yes.
Thank God. Even in the worst of circumstances. But do you feel like when you, like, I know that your mission was to get home, like you needed to get back to Dallas, but do you feel like at some point in your drug addiction, was it something that it kept pulling you, like that was one other reason why you had to continue working?
No, I want to say that if it wasn't for the drugs, I know I wouldn't have been able to do what I did. I wasn't not once when I started doing drugs, it wasn't, I know it was an addiction, but I never like stole from anybody or lived a certain way because the drugs had me under control. They have a saying where it's either do the drug or let it do you. I want to say I did it, and I didn't let it do me. I really feel if I wouldn't have had the drugs, I mean, I probably wouldn't have been able to do the things that I did, but it kept me numb and made me feel unstoppable, untouchable, and look, you're just going to have to do this. I didn't cry. There was times where I was sad, and because of the drugs, it just kind of kept me going. But never did I let it stop me from my goal that I was trying to get, which I need to do what I need to do. As soon as I get this much money, I'm going to go back to Dallas. And that's exactly what I did. Took me a little bit. It took me almost, I was in Austin for about a good, almost a year. But when I went to Austin, I went with one backpack. And when I came back to Dallas, I had a truck, and it took me 3 loads to bring everything back with me. So I went with nothing and came back with a lot. And when I left Austin, I left and said I would never, when I did return, it would be for vacation or sightseeing. It would never be to do what I did again, what I did. Right. So yeah, I don't think the drugs it just numbed me. Yeah. So I wouldn't feel anything. And kind of like when you're a kid, if you're watching a scary movie and you close your eyes, let's just say that's what I would do. I would close my eyes, and I hated what I had to do. I hated opening that door. I think I had a grudge against men too for a while, because it was just like, you disgust me. Like, I don't like you. Like, oh, just come in and get out. Showering myself every time. And when I did feel like I wanted to get weak and cry, that's when I would do my drugs even harder. Like, you can't cry. You got to just do what you got to do. And I would never show my customers, my clientele, what I did. Very clean person. I've had a few that would tell me like, wow, it looks really good in here. And I hid it from them because I didn't want anyone to, and I had a few who would call and say, hey, I like to get high. Do you want to get high? And we could do and it was like, no, I'm trying to do business. I'm not mixing no business with pleasure. You're going to come in, you're going to get out. I don't see anybody who do drugs. I'm sorry. So yeah, I hid it from them pretty well. And if you knew me, I know one kind of came by and I didn't have my door all the way closed, and he saw the contraband and was very disappointed. But I always came up with this quick little lie to get my way out of it, and was like, oh, that was a girl that I met upstairs, and she must have left her stuff here. But I don't think he believed it, but you know, I did get sloppy at some time, but it was because there were days where I wouldn't sleep for almost up to a week. Yeah, especially when I first got to Austin, I can say I didn't sleep for a week. And didn't really get to eat because it was either eat or pay your rent. And the rent was like $60, 65 every day. And so, yeah, there were times where I didn't sleep because it was like I have to be online doing my advertising because I have to make sure somebody comes every day. Whether it's one person, if I had 3, I could say, okay, it's enough for me to get something to eat, but that's it. Like it was nothing else. There was nothing else. It was just pay the rent. And if I could pay it for 2 or 3 days in advance, that's what I was doing. So I want to say maybe after 3 months of being there, you know, when you're in that kind of game, it's all about reviews. So when the first one gave me a review, I know it's not cool to say, but it is what it is. I blew up. Yeah. Where I can say I was making 15, almost to like 2,000 in a day. So it was like I went from a little $65 room, and before I left, I was in the penthouse, you know, and when you're just in that little environment, it's like you're just, man, I'm the shit, you know, like, oh my God, like I done moved up. So when you're just involved in that whole lifestyle, it's something totally different. But other people from the outside, when they look in, it's just like, yeah, but you know, it's just, there's a lot to it, you know, a lot to it. And you just got to be careful. And like I said, I also popped Xanax at the time too, to kind of keep me mellow. So I wasn't really so high. I was also calm. So there were times where I'd pop too many and pass out and wake up and like, where am I? What's going on? And just, but again, by myself. So never with anybody at the time. But I can just say that they kind of helped me to get through the situation. When it's not really good to fall back on drugs, but like I said, it was the only thing that kept me numb and to where I didn't feel anything. So, because if I would have been sober, I probably wouldn't have been able to do it. Because it's a lot for you to have to swallow to let, you know, to let that happen. So.
Yeah, that's it's a lot.
Yeah,
it's a lot.
It's a lot. And I do feel like there's a lot of ways somebody can make money. Just at that time, it was fast money is easy. You know, it was easy and it was quick. And but I do feel if I would have had family, a mom, you know, somebody, then maybe it wouldn't have happened. But, you know, everything happens and I don't live with any regret.
That's good to hear.
Yeah, I don't live with any regret. I'm not proud. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, I'm proud of what I did, but no. I don't regret what I did. I mean, it happened. And I tried to make the best out of every situation. I'm pretty sure a lot of people who met me didn't know what I was going through because I always stay smiling and laughing. And it could be the most ugliest place ever that you can be in, but I'm going to make it the cutest. I don't know how, but I'm going to make it comfortable enough just so that way you're not going to feel upset or sad, but you know, just, I'm always going to smile regardless of what situation I'm in. It's the one thing I know how to do. Yeah. You know? Yeah.
Yep. Always smiling. And if there was one thing that you could say to your mom, what would it be?
Why?
Yeah.
You know, why me?
Yeah. Yeah. But, you know, I think I hope that one day you'll get the opportunity to be able to have that full-on conversation with her, because I do think that is something worth having. And I feel like you're strong enough now to be able to sit and talk with her, right? So that way you can have that question answered, because you definitely deserve that. Definitely deserve that. If you did have an opportunity to talk to your mom, would you allow that conversation to take place?
Yes.
Okay.
And I think, yes, a lot more for me than for her, because I think it's what I need.
Mm-hmm.
I've always never really spoke up to her. I've always been afraid. Anytime she spoke, I kind of just stayed quiet.
Mm-hmm.
It was always whatever she said is what she said, and and it's like, no, I'm older now,
Right.
and I know right from wrong, and I know that what you did wasn't right. Maybe for you at the moment it was, but it really affected me in so many ways. And so I do feel like I need that conversation to help me move forward. And it may not be a good outcome for her, because I don't know if there is time or room or a place for her in my life anymore.
Sure. And you know what? There doesn't have to be. There does not have to be. That's the really amazing thing about life, right? People come and go, right? You have the ones that will stay for a lifetime. But if the ones, and this is not just to your mom, this is just to anybody who's bringing negative energy, right? They don't need to be around you. And that's okay. That's absolutely okay. So I just think that whenever you're ready to have that conversation, then do it. If you don't think you're ready, then that's the obvious there. But yeah, it's about you progressing and maturing and being happy.
Yeah.
And I don't think that you're any less deserving of that than anybody else. So just take your time. Take your time with it. One day at a time. That's all you can ask for. But I do want to know, if you reach out to her and the conversation never happens, where does that leave you?
I'm not too sure. I don't know. I guess sooner or later, I'm just going to have to, with her actions, I just feel like as time goes by, you're pretty much already answering my questions why. I mean, it's kind of obvious. So, I mean, if she just continues to keep her distance and think, or just, if she just keeps doing what she's been doing, which she has, I just feel like sooner or later, I'm not going to need that anymore. I just feel like I keep holding on because I keep wanting that mother love, when it's like, I feel like I want it, but I know deep down I don't want it from you though. I'm just a little confused. It's like, I want you to feel my pain, really. Like, I want you to see not really what you've done, but kind of what you're missing out on, because whatever reason why you choose to stay away or whatever it is, I'm not really that bad, and you've always pictured me and have said that I'm just this bad person, or you're going to make sure your other two kids don't turn out like me, when I don't really feel like I'm that bad, because you don't really know me. Mm-hmm. And I just, whether she comes around or not, I'm already starting to get to the point in my life where I'm starting to feel at peace. Okay. Like I've said before, I'm not where I used to be. I don't know if I'm where I want to be now, but I know I'm far from where I've come from. Mm-hmm. And I don't ever want her to take credit when I do get to where I want to be, because I didn't do any of this for you. And I don't want her to take credit for anything that I do accomplish, because it's really because of the people that I'm around now, mm-hmm. and who I have always been there and never left. They're the reasons why I've continued to fight. My children who've come back into my life, they're the reasons why I continue to fight every day to try to get to where I need to go. And I mean, I'm still confused and not sure, but I'm happy. I'm very happy. I got this new job and surrounded by these amazing people who are a lot far different from me, but it's what I need. Mm-hmm. And it's okay to be around other people. There's a lot more out there than what you're used to. Mm-hmm. And even though I hate change, the people that I'm around and surrounded by, they've showed me and made me feel like it's okay. Mm-hmm. It's okay. And I mean, then with me around, it's just like, it's that perfect mix because I'm loud and funny and they're kind of, some of them are just like real quiet. But by the end of the day, they're louder than me. And I'm around family also. So
this is really good.
Yes. It's a little different, but we'll get there. Mm-hmm. We'll Absolutely. Get there. It's not going to happen overnight, but we'll get there. So,
yep, you will. You will. I love to hear you say all these things too. So, what before we wrap it up, is there anything else that you want to add, or is there something that you just want to circle back to?
No, I think I pretty much talked about some really important obstacles and things that I've been through. And like I said in the beginning, just to anybody out there who's listening, if you feel like you're alone or this is it or it's going to get worse or just you don't know what else to do or you don't have anybody to go to, just pray. Just don't give up. It's once you're down, you can't, there's no way to go but up, you know, so things will get hard. You will be in situations where you don't know what to do. You're lost, but just keep fighting because at the end of the day, like, what doesn't kill you just makes you stronger. Absolutely. And it will get better and it's only going to continue to get better as long as if you just keep fighting for it and that's what you really want. So, you know, just never give up. Have faith and don't ever look back. If you get out of a situation, just keep moving forward. Mm-hmm. When one door closes, another one opens.
Absolutely.
Excuse me.
Absolutely. One more question.
Okay.
Name the person and the restaurant that you would visit to have dinner with. If there could be just one individual and one restaurant or a type of food.
Well, that's easy for me. It's got me over here smiling. My grandpa.
Okay.
Rest in peace. He's not here anymore, but no questions asked. That would be the first person I would want to see and eat with. And it would have to be fast food.
Okay.
I can't really name a specific one because that's all that he loved to eat, but hamburgers for sure. Okay. That was his favorite. So hopefully my grandma's not listening because I used to give him a lot of hamburgers. I wasn't supposed to, but yes, hamburgers and with him, of course.
Wow, I love that. That's cute. Like Whataburger.
Anything, McDonald's, yes, Burger King, even me cooking burgers, because I was his nurse at the time, so I had to do a lot of his cooking. But yes, as long as it was a burger, he was okay with it.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Hey guys, this has been The Blind Impact. Today's guest has been Christy, Miss Christy. Christy, thank you so very much for agreeing to come onto the show, and I really appreciate you taking the time to tell your story. So if you've got nothing else, we're gonna go ahead and sign off.
Okay, bye everyone.
All right, bye guys. Thank you all so much for listening to this episode of The Blind Impact. If you like the show, please rate, subscribe, review, follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Amazon Music. If you have a story you'd like to tell, please email me at theblindImpact@gmail.com. Or if you have a story you'd like to have read here by me, please include those details in the email or the voice message. Thank y'all, and remember, it's not always tragic.